Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with PaperStampInk. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel tonight, where I'm going to share with you 5 different designs, 10 total cards that I made with the June 2020 Pink and Main card kit. Now, if you're already a subscriber, thank you for that. If you're not and you don't want to miss out on future paper crafting videos where I share techniques and tutorials, 3D projects, cards, and gift items, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. So this kit these cards are designed using this kit, but you'll be able to use these layouts with other products you have in your stash as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the kit. This is my first month as a subscriber to the monthly kit, and I think this is a wonderful kit. I did not bring in any other papers to use in this kit other than some card bases because there's only 2 sheets of thick paper, and so you're only going to be able to get 4 card bases out of that, and I'm of course going to make a lot more. We've got some glitter tape. Who doesn't like glitter, right? And we get 4 envelopes, and then this is the sheet that shows you what else is in the kit, and it gives you the names of the colors if you want to get additional cardstock. We've got the 4 envelopes, but we're going to make way more cards. We're going to need more envelopes, that's for sure. And then we have our designer series paper, and there's just all sorts of fun, different patterns. There's the octopus on a lot of them, sailboats, waves, but then I love that we have some other just fun, bright, vibrant papers. So it's very nautically themed, but we also have some good neutral, if you want to call crazy bright colors neutral, I guess not, but patterns that can be used with a lot of different occasions, as well as with the kit. We have our stamp set. It's got this adorable little octopus holding the flowers and a couple of sentiments on there, and it is a clear photopolymer stamp set. And then we have our glitter paper, and it does have a little bit of flaking, but not bad on that glitter. And I love this stencil, the wave stencil. Sorry, I sped this video up, so it's a little fast. We've got enamel dots and some ribbons, trying to keep this from getting too lengthy for you guys. And then these great sequins that are just a clear sequin. And I love this Thinking of You die, and it does give you the outline and the detailed words. And then we've also got a little flare pin that you get with each item. So let's start on card 1. So for this one, I did have to cut a oval out of the center of one of those matting pieces so that I could get that for another card that you're going to see later. And this one I did use a card sketch. It's from Sunday Sketches number 9. And so if you want to look that one up, I just modified it a little bit for my purposes as far as where I'm putting a sentiment versus they had an embellishment on there. So sometimes I'll use a kit or a sketch as a jumping off point, and other times I just kind of wing it. So I'm wrapping some ribbon around, and I like to use my my score tape to hold that down. I just find that it works the best for me to keep that in place. Now when I did go to pop this up, realized that it does have a little bit of dimension from that ribbon that I want to go over. So putting some foam tape on, and I got it at the wrong angle the first time. Fortunately, I didn't push that down too hard, so I was able to peel it back up. Good tip, don't press your tape down super hard until you're sure you got it in the right place. Peel off those backings, and then I'm just going to twist this one to the side. So I just have those overlapping angled pieces and a little bit of matting. I love to mat. Even if sketches don't call for a matting layer, I will typically put one on. I pulled this sentiment, a little hello, from another stamp set because I just wanted something smaller than the larger sentiments that were already on there. And then I'm stamping off this ink so that it's a little bit lighter and just kind of filling in that circle a little bit more with those starfish. These are both cut from Stitch Circle dies. I love that extra detail of the stitching. And then I'm going to just put a little bit of a foam piece on the back there. This is double-sided foam tape, and I do list the products I use down below if you're ever interested in those. And that just keeps that from getting pushed down off the side. Gives it a more even layering. And a few enamel dots. I love enamel dots. We're going to just put this on our card base. In this, I'm going to come in and do a little bit of stamping on the inside. I am not always good about remembering to stamp the insides, and that's something I'm kind of working on getting better at decorating up the inside. So, give me a thumbs up if you decorate the insides of your cards, because I think that's great. It's just that nice finishing touch that I sometimes get in a hurry. So I took two different pieces of cardstock. I cut them down to the size panel that I wanted to mat this layer. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I just cut them at an angle. So there's no specific dimensions. You just find an angle that you like that works for you. And then I'm going to use the other pieces on my second card that you'll see at the end of this, where the waves are going to be at the top and the polka dots at the bottom. So we get double use out of that. I just took a thin strip of cardstock to cover up that seam. I always like to cover the seams when I have pieces of pattern paper matching up. I just think it gives it a nice finishing look. And then coming in again with the double-sided foam tape. And sometimes this is the hardest part for me, is picking off all those backings. Even with my little pick there, it's sometimes a struggle. I'm just going to center that up and then come in with some more of those yummy enamel dots. And I did have a little bit of a smudge there where I got some inky fingers on. So that's a great place to put some bling, right? There's our second card. We're going to map that on, and I know I said I want to decorate the insides. I chose to put my sentiment on the inside this time, and I didn't decorate it, so boo to me, I'm going to have to get better. But I used the You've Been Occupying My Mind stamp set, or stamp sentiment on there. And then we'll bring in card number 3. And I did pre-color that octopus with some Copic markers and also the scene, and went ahead and just did those before we got started. I love this little lighthouse. So this was one of those cards that it seemed like everything I did was just an oops. I don't know if you guys ever have those. I do. So here's my first one. I go to map this and realize that my pattern paper is the same size as my cardstock. So I thought I'm going to cut that down and see if I can roll with that not being matted and just have it kind of offset matting off to one side. And so I'm playing around with where my pieces are going to go, and didn't like it. Tried to start peeling it off and it wasn't going to happen, and I really didn't have enough of that craft colored cardstock anyway left over in a big piece. So instead I decided to cut a thin strip, and I'm going to try and do a little bit of repair here. And in the end, I think it worked out great. So I just need a little bit thicker strip there, and then we're going to just stick that down on the back of the card. And at the top part, we're going to trim off all of that excess anyway, because it's going to be flush mounted to the top of our card panel. So that part doesn't matter. Nobody's ever going to know that's another piece. Now at the bottom, we've got this little part, but we're going to fix that at the end. We're going to hide that, and I don't think most people would actually even see that when they looked at the card, that it wasn't all one piece. It's very, very minute, so I think most people wouldn't even notice it. So we're going to I put another layer in there just to keep that a little bit flat, so level that out, because it was dipping down on that right hand side with all the layering I had in there. And then I realized, here's mistake 2. I forgot to put the ribbon on. I should have put that on before I put that blue background piece on the matting layer. So rather than try and rip that up, I found some coordinating cardstock that had a polka dot pattern, and I'm just going to do the polka dots from that cardstock. So, there's always room to adjust as you go around. Don't ever just throw something away because it didn't turn out the way you planned it to turn out. There's always room for fixing. So I'm putting a couple little strips of cardstock on there again, just to make that level with all of the matting layers we have. It'd have quite a dip on the sides if I did not put that matting layer on. I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto my scalloped circle die cut out, and I love that just little tiny scalloped edge that shows out from the back of that. We'll put our ribbon slash cardstock on there, and then because this is also up on so many layers, I'm cutting some pieces to put under those bottom left and top left corners of this circle piece. And I'm just guesstimating, but then I'm taking and doing a double layer. So I'm just using the first one that I cut to as a pattern to cut out the second one, and the third one to cut out the fourth one. So we're just going to adhere those down in the corners here, and hopefully this makes sense as we go along. What I'm doing is just kind of giving a little bit of extra lift there, and it wasn't quite enough that I wanted to do the double-sided tape. I just wanted to kind of stick with the cardstock where I could do 1, 2, 3 layers to bring that up. And then we are going to come in with these beautiful sequins, and they're a very clear color when you look at them, so they'd be great for shaker cards. And I'm going to have to definitely do that with some more of these, but I'm putting these on glue dots this time around, and I put one down in that little corner to cover up where those two pieces of cardstock meet on our matting layer, where we had the oops, I had the oops, right? And then I'm going to stamp the everyone needs a little vitamin C sentiment on the inside, or sometimes you need a little vitamin C. And we're gonna move on to card number 4. And this one, I just kind of took that one layer and I thought, just gonna put it a little wonky on my panel. And there's, again, no exact measurements for how you do that. It's kind of what's pleasing to your eye. And then trim all of that excess off from the back. Very easy to do, especially with some long handled scissors. I find the easiest for doing this. And then we're going to use some of that fun glitter paper. I did already run that through my die cutting machine, and I put some double-sided adhesive on the back there. I found that if I took that adhesive off, I could get this little tiny die out much easier. These are very fine and delicate, so while this is sped up for to keep the length of the video down, I'm not moving quite as fast as that looks. I am taking my time to get all of those little pieces out and then get the little circles out. But I love with this, they just rounded the tops of the eyes instead of separating the little dot on the eye out. So you don't have that little tiny piece that, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always looking for. And then this has a matting layer as well, which I love to, you can run that through separately, you can run them through together, and you can have all sorts of fun with these dies, these two separate dies. But I like the glitter on that blue, which is the fountain color in this pack. And then we've got this fun glitter tape that I thought, hey, why not some more glitter? And just put a little piece of that down at the bottom of that for an accent. And I have some pre-colored and fussy cut out some of the seashells and the anchor and the crab, and just kind of playing around with what do I want to put on the corner here, just to give it a little bit more interest on that. And these images, I'm not a big fussy cutter, but these were really easy to cut out. I do like my dies. I have to admit, I like my coordinating dies, but these were pretty simple images to cut out. So don't be intimidated. You can do it if I can do it. And there's our 4th card with the coordinating one. And we'll move on to the last, which I think is my favorite. I got out my Distress Oxide ink sprays and had a lot of fun with those. And so I did one previously. I'm going to show you at the end here to see what totally different looks you can get with this. So this one I used a lot of spraying with those two colors, so it's a pretty heavy inked. And I just laid my wave pattern down stencil over the cardstock and put it in my spray box and just spritz away. The craft paper on the bottom is from the kit, and I just free-handed some little hills for sand dunes. And then I pre-cut out 2 of the Thinking of Yous, and this actually is cardstock that I brought in. I said I didn't, but I forgot I did bring in for this card some of this purple cardstock that I really, really love purple. So I wanted to add some of that in. I thought it would be a pretty compliment. So I did 2 layers just to thicken up that die. And when I glued that bottom panel down, I made sure that I didn't glue it at the top because I wanted to be able to tuck some of those things like the crab and the shell behind just to give it a little bit more dimension. on there. We're going to just glue that panel onto my purple cardstock and put that onto our card base. And then I'm going to bring in the other one and let me know in the comments which one you like. Do you like the one with the heavier spray, or do you like the one with the lighter spray colors? So that's coming up in just a minute, but first we're going to do a little bit of blinging it up with some of those clear sequins, and I'm just putting some dots of glue around on there, liquid glue, excuse me, and putting those sequins down. I just started with the bigger ones at the bottom and worked to the smaller ones at the top. And I didn't really count. Usually I do these in odds, but this time I just kind of put some glue dots down and went to town. So you see the difference on how much lighter that other one is. Let me know what you prefer. Either one's good. I hope that you enjoyed this. I had fun playing with this kit. Make sure you check them out because it's a great value, and I love getting surprises in the mail. And I'm going to be making more with this kit, so you'll be seeing more of it in the days to come. Until we meet again, make sure that you grab your paper stamp and ink and find time to do something creative. Thanks again.